In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened Venezuelan acting President Delcy Rodriguez of dire consequences if she fails to comply with U.S. demands. Meanwhile, Rodriguez has invited the U.S. to work towards a comprehensive agenda for lasting coexistence between the two countries. Here's more.
Following ousted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's capture by the U.S., President Donald Trump warned Venezuelan acting President Delcy Rodriguez of an outcome worse than that of Maduro's if she fails to comply with U.S. demands, and as he put it, does not do what's right. Acting President Rodriguez called for the immediate release of Maduro, forming a committee to secure the release, and condemned the capture as an atrocity that violates international law. Still, President Trump stated the U.S. would govern Venezuela indefinitely.
We're in charge. The country is a mess. It's been horribly run. The oil is just flowing at a very low level, much lower than, even if it was badly run, it should have more income, more oil than what they do. So we're going to have the big oil companies go in. They're going to fix the infrastructure. They're going to invest money. We're not going to invest anything. We're going to just take care of the country. We're going to cherish the country. We're going to take care, more importantly, of the people, including Venezuelans that are living in our country that were forced to leave their country. Yeah, they're going to be taken very good care of. Yes, ma'am.
For her part, acting President Rodriguez invited the U.S. government to work toward a cooperative agenda for shared development and lasting coexistence between the two, prioritizing moving towards balanced and respectful international relations between the U.S. and Venezuela, and between Venezuela and other countries in the region. She further stressed that Venezuelans and the region deserve peace and dialogue, not war. Meanwhile, U.S. President Trump renewed his claims over Greenland, stating that the U.S. needs Greenland for national security reasons, citing what he described as an increased Russian and Chinese presence around the strategically located island country. Greenland remains an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark and has previously rejected proposals suggesting any transfer of sovereignty.
Ousted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who was captured by U.S. forces in a surprise military operation in Caracas over the weekend, is now awaiting trial in New York City on alleged federal criminal charges as the United Nations Security Council prepares to convene an emergency session to address the unfolding crisis. More details in this report.
Ousted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who was captured by U.S. forces in a surprise military operation in Caracas, is set to make his first appearance in U.S. federal court in New York today on alleged federal criminal charges, including narco-terrorism conspiracy and importation conspiracy. A spokesperson for the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York emphasized that the appearance of Maduro and his wife will mark their first court presence on criminal charges since their withdrawal from Venezuela. Today's arrangement starts the clock for prosecutors to turn over evidence against Maduro and those indicted, as the charges appear to be the same as those that were filed in 2022 indictment. Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council is scheduled to also hold an emergency meeting to discuss U.S. military actions in Venezuela today, which led to the capture of Nicolas Maduro. Earlier, the Permanent Mission of Venezuela to the United Nations sent a letter to President of the Security Council for January, Abu Bakr Athman Zahir, condemning the brutal, unjustified, and unilateral U.S. armed attacks against the South American nation. The letter also put forward 4 demands: an urgent Security Council meeting to discuss the U.S. aggression, a strong condemnation of the aggression against Venezuela, an immediate halt to the U.S. military attacks, and measures to hold Washington accountable for its crime of aggression. Additionally, the letter further noted that the attacks constituted a flagrant act of aggression that is premeditated, acknowledged, and publicized by Washington, and that they flagrantly violated the UN Charter.
Meanwhile, European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas has called for calm and restraint by all actors as U.S. President Donald Trump remained vague on his transition plan for Venezuela after a dramatic ousting of Nicolas Maduro. Kallas said that, quote, under all circumstances, the principles of international law and the UN Charter must be upheld, and urged all actors to avoid escalation and to ensure a peaceful solution to the crisis, end quote. The statement further affirmed respecting the will of the Venezuelan people remains the only way forward for the country to restore democracy and resolve the current crisis, stressing the political efforts should be placed on a democratic transition. That brings us to the end of this hour's update. Join us again at 7 for the latest news. Thanks for watching. Before we go, here's a quick reminder of our top headlines.